joints and whatnot. And then once you've done that for the whole footprint, then we can start doing the individual lining types.
Right.
Yep, and have a specific drawing for each. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I get what you mean there. Yep.
Yeah, so, and then we will, he mentioned we will add the monitoring framework, but we'll do a separate discussion for that. Just to focus on the drawing set for today. And so this one in here, so this is where he he mentioned we're going to do the lining on the right hand side up to the toe of the left bank.
Yep.
Inside toe. Yep. So this whole section here will be the construction zone.
Yep.
Yeah, just saying all these notes here will be moved to this side and everything. And the freeboard is 380 to 400.
Yep.
For the Mulwala size type canal. I think that's it here. Yes, so, and then he made a comment about the general notes being generic, so he wanted it to be more site specific, and I think he mentioned that they did a lot of work for this typical drawings here, standard drawings for the earthworks, so he was wanting to use these notes in here as more applicable to what we're about to do. So so that's what he was trying to say in this page. And so this plan here is showing the left hand bank. So we need to switch the view to the right hand bank.
Yep.
Yeah.
It should be. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was confused as well. So that's the left hand bank. That yeah.
Yep. So I think it's basically just turn that around 180.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And this here, he made a note that 10 to 15 centimeters. He wants just to set it to 150. So they're not using 100, and then they would say, yeah, we've met the standard. So he wants to set it at 150, and sorry, I know you've sent me some response to my initial comments. He made a comment about the details on the anchors, anchor type of anchors and rows and spacings and all of that.
But basically, that's dictated by the environment it's getting installed. So they're standard like U-pins. They're just a metal rod that they pin in. I think they're about 400 mil long or something. They just bang them into the ground.
Yep.
But basically, the way that this concrete mat works, it's safe weight anchors it in most scenarios. If you're in high flowing environments, so around regulators, that would be where it would realistically need to be pinned down. So along the channel where there's no low concentrations, the pins would not really be required. Just the self weight would pin it there.
Okay.
They do still recommend that you put them in at like 1 meter spacing. But I can double check that with the supplier guidelines and see what they recommend.
All right.
But
that'd be good.
It's basically not really required. I think if you're close to a regulator structure, you would then definitely start pinning it in certain spots.
All right. Yeah.
The key is that it's keyed into the bank up the top, so that key trench just lock it down.
Right. So I think he mentioned. Let me see my notes here. So he mentioned he imagined it might flap around. He mentioned he mentioned that during the meeting. So he was thinking the bottom part of the. Hang on, wait, I'm not in the drawing. Hang on, sorry. The bottom. Oh my so the bottom here, he was wondering if it needs to be anchored, but you're right. I guess we'll leave it to your expert judgment. What
and also the suppliers.
Yeah, the
their
suppliers.
guidelines on. I think the suppliers will tell us what velocity you need to start pinning it, and then
Right.
depending on how fast the velocity is, what the spacing is of the pins.
Yeah. All right. So,
but yeah, either way, we'll follow up. We'll confirm where it needs to be pinned and what the frequency of pins is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think that's that for this one. Yeah, it's all good. Hang on. Left lock. Oh yeah, so that's the same one. Sorry. Okay, so this is the right. So so he noted we're not doing HDPE lining for the entire channel, for the entire bank, so it'll stop 1 meter below the high water mark up to here. Yeah, so again he mentioned anchoring system upstream and downstream.
So definitely the plastic lining, that definitely needs like an anchor. So that I did send through updated drawings that have a concrete footing that they basically glue and clamp the plastic to. So that's the typical anchoring method that the plastic liner uses.
Okay, sure.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so I think the other notes, comments in here are same as the other ones. Standard. Yeah, so I think the notes, he just needs to make it more specific to the site. For this roll here, he was wondering if we could use one single roll, so we don't need to do welding.
That welding detail will be because it was for the whole width of the channel. So that would definitely be doable. If it's only doing the wave action zone sort of area, then definitely you'll be able to do it in a single roll.
Yeah, I think that's it for this set. So, I'm just going back to my list. So I think that it just summarized everything that he wanted to incorporate in the drawings. But there's another thing that he mentioned that I haven't included in my notes. It's about the sorry, I'm trying to search through my notes where it is.
Concrete lining?
Concrete lining. Sorry, no. Give me a sec. Survey reference and set out. So he was wondering if we could use one consolidated reference survey drawing. And he mentioned a GPS-based set out. And if they could do a GPS-based set out, then we won't need survey drawing. Does that make sense?
No, it does. So we could give them a survey file, or get a if we don't. It depends what machines. So they want machine control. We can certainly give CAD files. I think we have the ability to do some machine set out with Civil 3D, but it just really depends on what the contractor's using. But if not, we can give the CAD files to like a survey. Most survey companies have the software they need to be able to convert it to a machine file.
All right.
We haven't really been doing machine files for contractors as yet because we generally aren't dealing with the contractors directly. But it's something that we might be able to help with, or we just give the CAD file to the contractors and then their surveyor will convert that to the machine file for the software that they're using.
Yeah.
Because I think that the different machine control brands have different software and they're all slightly different variants. And they'll take different file types, basically.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. But I think what Jared's asking for, yes, we can definitely at least provide CAD files so that it can be converted to a machine file for machine control.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's mostly it. I think he most of the comments are in the drawings. I just summarized it in a list. There's another thing that I noted in one of the drawings, like the sorry. No. Is it this one? Sorry, it's just I can't pick the drawing. This one I haven't. Okay, so in here, he picked this one up as not constructible. This little sharp angle here. So he wanted to extend this rock installation to the top. Does that make sense?
I think so. On that site, there's actually the banks are about a meter and a half above water level. Just are you able to zoom down on that drawing a bit? It's the way it's sharing. It's I can only see it right at the bottom of my screen.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
So I think he was referring to this here, how to shape that little. Yeah.
All I'm saying is that rock beaching would only go up to. So that they would be able to build that.
All right. Okay.
It's on the Moai Canal in that location. It's about a metre and a half from memory. I did drive it a couple of weeks ago. Had a quick look after we met the Becker team in Finley. We drove back via the Moai Canal and had a look at the Sandhills site, and it was a good metre to a metre and a half of freeboard there. So you wouldn't rock beach all the way to the top.
Oh, okay. You
would only do the sort of nominal metre overlap.
Okay.
And then you'll just have earthen bank above that because it's not required to have it wouldn't be a wetted area ever.
Yeah.
I know previously they've been desilting and putting some of that material on the bank itself, but it seems to be very high in that location.
Right.
And then about half a k to a kilometre downstream, it drops back down another probably 500 mil or more.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we'll provide a bit more detail there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the rest is the same comment.
A lot of that detail would actually, so specifically that the detail we were just looking at before, a lot of that will actually get captured once we've done a site-specific survey.
Yeah.
And it'll actually show how much extra overburden there is on the banks above the minimum freeboard requirement.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to. So I think that's all the drawings, but there are things that was mentioned that are not can't be captured in the drawing comments. So I had to make a list. So if I go through that list that I made, hang on.
What I might do, Patricia, is I'll just set up a design review comments register. just because there's a fair bit going on at this site,
Yeah.
it's more than just one or two comments.
Yes.
It's just a lot easier to make sure that we actually close everything out.
Yes.
So
agree.
I'll just set it up with what drawing it is,
Yeah.
what the comment is,
Yeah.
and then I can set up comments for whether we've addressed it or not, and then if there's any further comments or feedback required.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah. Yep.
I was almost about to do that, but I needed to get this out ASAP. They were pretty. Yeah. Hang on. So just let me go. I wanted to show the email, just so we're looking at the same thing. I'll stop sharing and share the email, I guess. Is it this one? Sorry. Inbox. Okay. So, here you go. I don't know what I'm sharing. What can you see?
No, I can see your emails.
Yeah, I'll close this. I can't close anything anyway. So we just want to focus on this list here, right?
Yep.
So I think I've covered that first one. Okay, the treatment sequence there. That's one of the key things that we discussed.
Okay. Yeah.
So okay.
Was that in my? I just want to double check because I don't know if that's actually in the email you forwarded to me. Like I said, I was looking at that on the phone, so
yeah,
I may have missed it.
Yeah.
Let's come through here. Yeah, no, I've got that email there.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So they mentioned the rock armoring is more likely to be more constructable at the bend.
Yeah.
So and then the earth lock and HDPE goes next.
Yeah.
50 meters each, and the do nothing is also 50 meters. So they wanted to limit it to 200 meters for this trial layout, because John mentioned it looks like it's going to be a big job. There will be a lot of desilting, so they didn't want to go overboard. They just wanted to do the 200 meters for this for the trial. And yeah, so that's the sequence that they were looking at. And then they mentioned the transition in between between the linings. So this is where it gets a bit, because they mentioned 5 meters gap in between. I don't know what you were imagining the transition between the linings will be. Did you have?
I'll have to each one. I'll just give a specific detail for how it transitions.
Yeah, because they mentioned rock beaching in between and then 5 meters gap.
Yeah.
So that will extend the 200 to 200 something, right? But I don't know if so. They were just mentioning ideas. I don't think we came up with a definite solution for the transitioning. So probably if you could recommend what
we'll have a look at that. It might be different. So where you got the rock then going to the earth block, you can basically just butt them hard up, one straight into the other, and you just basically have a key trench in the middle where the geofabrics and the rock, the earth block go down into the key trench just to lock it in.
Okay, yeah.
So that one you basically just butt them hard up.
Mm-hmm.
The earth lock to the HDPE, in theory, you just pour that concrete cut-off wall, concrete footing that they clamp plastic to, and you could just run your earthbox straight up, hard up against that as a key trench almost.
Right.
So I'll just get a specific detail drawing for each of those transitions, basically.
All right. Yeah. That'd be good.
Yeah. It needs some sort of detail, obviously. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So that's item 3. Item 4 is, I think I've covered most of that. Construction notes, tie-in, treatment transition. So yeah, that's what we just discussed. Incurring overlap. I think I've discussed most of these. These are all the markups from Jared's comments.
Yep. That'll actually make it easy when I create the review comments register.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I have it. I think I mentioned everything, hopefully.
Yep.
But
and you mentioned you might still want to trial a concrete lining somewhere.
No. So going back, so that was the first item in my email. We are not going to progress the concrete lining.
Yeah, good. To be honest, it's I wouldn't say that you'd actually be doing that in all honesty. I think it would be low value to MIL.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was saying he wasn't sure how it came about.
Yeah.
I think he wasn't meaning to include the concrete lining in the first place.
Because the original concept assessment sort of more or less highlighted that concrete lining's not really suitable for the MIL type operations.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's spot on. That clarifies that.
And again, the monitoring KPI framework will be included in PVS scope of works. They really want to know the cost per meter, and this is the critical item that they want to get out of this exercise, is how much it's going to cost for each trial lining, installation cost. They didn't really mention maintenance cost in the long run, but I guess it'll take a bit of time before we could see the performance of each, I guess.
I can probably do a bit of a desktop analysis of because a lot of this technology is used elsewhere. So G&W have done similar trials, and they've actually rolled this out in widespread in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've been using the Earthlock stuff. That's a relatively new product. But they've definitely done the HDPE lining like this, and also the rock armouring. So we could definitely get some indicative maintenance costs from GMW. They'd be happy to share that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's, I think.
Okay. What's the time frame? Like you want the KPI framework voluntarily before you start construction. So what's the time frame for? I'm guessing sort of the end of May you'd want to have.
I'll double check the timing for that. I think the what they want to get out is design, so that they could.
Oh yeah, the design definitely will get over the next week.
Yeah.
I'll get Josh straight back onto it. So I'll get him working on this straight away. But in terms of the monitoring framework, you probably that'll be a secondary priority, but you still sort of want it soonish.
Yes. We'll confirm the timing for that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll touch base with Josh after this and get him straight into these changes.
All right.
All right.
Hi, Lorinda. Anything from you?
Hi. No, I'm good. Think you covered it.
All right. I hope so. I hope.
Pretty good to me.
All right.
And then, have we got a confirmed date or have we got a dewatering schedule yet for the?
I think we do. I think it's being worked on currently. I've think they're going with the 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you able to
I'll talk to David.
Or maybe
and
maybe
I'll just I need to double check that. That is something I want
Yeah.
to talk to David about
And
as well. So
just ask specifically about that site, about when do you think water will realistically be out of channel, and when do you think like a block bank or something will be put in upstream for any other works.
Yeah.
Because at some point we're going to need to do a site survey.
Yeah.
And then and then you're going to need that for your contractors as well anyway.
Yeah.
To say when they can actually realistically get into the channel and start prepping the site, putting their block in and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I'll speak to Dave because I need to know that date anyway. So that was something I wanted to do today as well. So I will speak to Dave and let you know. But yeah, as far as I've heard something yesterday, and so as far as I know, it's definitely going for the proposed date, which was the 15th of the month, or 14th or the 15th of the month.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah.
But cool, I will double check it. Thanks, guys. Awesome.
All right.
Nice.
Thank you.
Just to confirm, Patricia, so with the starting location, you want it to actually capture that outside bend, or do you want to start it downstream of the bend? I think you had the aerial just before that you were sharing.
Hang on.
Be able to bring that up, or otherwise I can.
Hang on. Let me. I thought they wanted to capture the full bend. Does that make sense?
Yep.
This here?
So the whole outer bank.
Well, they gave us 70-meter estimated dimension. Through here, 70 meters. Where it starts, I'm not exactly sure.
I'll just share my screen.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Just let me know when you can see the screen.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I think our original proposal was to sort of start in a straight line, because the other thing is obviously the flow around the bend will be different to the flow along the straight. So if you don't want to have biased results or anything from a performance perspective, we thought if we just get a typical section along here, somewhere along either here or further down, it's same but different all the way along there. Then you get a consistent result. If we're doing around the bend, the flow through here might be a little bit different. It just might not necessarily give you the same like-for-like comparison.
Oh, right. Well,
But in all honesty, like all of these options do the same thing. They all provide separation between the clay and the flow. So wave action and flow won't scare out the bank and cause it to slump as much. So yeah, probably not as big of an issue.
Right. Well, what Jared mentioned, that he's particularly interested in this location, and because he said that that's where that's the hardest part of this work is that bend. And he really wants to get an idea of how difficult it'll be, how costly it'll be to line that particular area. Yeah.
And do you want updated estimates for this work, or do you want to go to just get market pricing and be guided by that?
I'm not sure.
In this location, it depends on how you want to do it. You can potentially just reprofile the bank to what's there now. So basically just pull out the silt and then batter down at a 2-to-1 batter here. But it is quite wide there, so I think over time this canal was originally a bit narrower, and they've been pulling out the silt, throwing it at the back, or somewhere around here they're stockpiling it, and it has sort of widened this bank potentially a little bit.
Right.
I'm assuming that you're not wanting to import too much fill in here to get the batter correct.
Yeah, they mentioned something about not going too deep into. Yeah. So what's the question if I go back to Jared and confirm?
Basically, I'll just open a drawing here. And just let me know when you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
So any of these. At the moment, I'll just draw it so it's sort of... Freehand. So at the moment, I think what's been happening over time, so if you're looking at the channel, in that around that corner sort of location, it was originally built with a nice 2-to-1 butter.
Yeah.
And then as they've been desilting, they've slowly been sort of undermining more and more here.
Mm-hmm.
And then that material ends up out here as excavated silt.
Yeah.
And then over time, I think they've actually been widening the channel in that location.
Yep.
So the question is, do you want us to just cut a batter using the material that's there at a 2-to-1, or do you want us to import some material back in to rebuild it out?
Right.
That profile using additional imported material. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because that looks quite simple in this drawing, but that could be a fair bit of material, because if you have a look at, there's probably 3 to 5 metres potentially there where it's widened. So that equates to a lot of volume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we're gonna think of realistically what they want to do,
I suppose it's really driven by budget. You've got a certain amount of money to do this trial.
Yeah.
We might just have to wait till we do a survey, and then we tell contractors, yep, you're bringing in,
Yeah.
1,000 cubic metres, and that'll basically spend the budget.
Yeah. So they do know the earthworks will be the most costly in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it'll depend on the budget, as you say. We got 200. I'll get back to Jared, but I think I'll get back to Jared and ask the question and get back to you on that and confirm. Yep.
And in terms of tendering this work out, have they got an allowance for like a scheduler rates to be able to adjust? So once we've done a survey, they'll have priced it on a certain quantity of material work that they've got to do. Once we get our design, it'll confirm exactly how much material has to move either in or out. So because at the moment we don't really know how much silt's there, and we don't know the extent of the undermining.
Right.
So once we get that, then the designs will be confirmed, and then contractors' pricing will have to be adjusted to capture the reduction of quantity. So just to make sure that the tender, you've got pricing in there that allows for that adjustment.
Right.
So bulk quantities of either cut or fill.
Okay.
It'd just be worth checking that with Jared on how that tender's been set up.
Yeah. Yep. I'll confirm that as well.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have you got anything else, Lorinda?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. I'll log off. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Bye.